Good afternoon. Welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads. So today we are going to have another miscellaneous video where I am kind of behind this camera here and talking about this particular topic here. And this particular topic is my list of books that I feel need to have some type of movie or TV adaptation. I'm also going to make this a tagged video where I'm going to tag a bunch of my fellow booktubers and they can choose to participate or not. It's up to you guys. It's completely optional, but I thought it'd be fun to do. I saw this video, I believe it was on TikTok, and I thought it was an interesting concept. And so I thought maybe I'd share with you all my thoughts about what I feel are books that deserve a movie or a TV adaptation. So I'm going to go through this list. It's in no particular order. I have 9 on this list. Give you a little bit about kind of a real quick premise and why I think it would be interesting type thing. And we'll go through this list. I have Daryl from the warehouse supervising me, making sure everything is dink and flicka. And so, anyways, we'll go ahead and get started. So the first one I have, John Sandford, The Devil's Code. I mean, this really is, my take is the Kid and Llewellyn series. There's 4 books, this being the first one. But the 4 books in the Kid series, I think, are fantastic. I think Kid is a really interesting character, and there's an interesting premise to this series with Kid and Llewellyn. Kid is a computer hacker / artist with a military background, likes to burglarize, do corporate espionage, all the while his on and off friend / girlfriend Llewellyn is a burglar, likes high-end stuff, and gets off on the heist, dabbles in drugs, and it's just an interesting concept. I think it would make for great TV, a great movie. But anyways, that's my first one. Second one, Rogue Lawyer by John Grisham. I think this is an interesting concept. You have kind of a lawless kind of lawyer in Sebastian Rudd. He likes the bachelor life, represents as a defense attorney some interesting characters, and he dabbles in MMA as a sponsor. He drives a van that's bulletproof windows. He likes to the bachelor life. It's just an interesting character. I think it would, you could do a movie off of this, spin an idea, and expand on this character. I think it'd be really interesting. So you knew I was going to have some kind of Stephen King on here. And so I have The Long Walk. I'll be honest with you, going through Stephen King's catalog and trying to find books that haven't been made into some type of movie multiple times or in some type of TV adaptation or series is interesting and challenging because a lot of his stuff has. This one hasn't, and this is one of my favorite Bachman books, The Long Walk. You have a story of this young man in this, there's a lottery every so often, I think it's every year maybe, where they do this long walk and kids, boys from a certain age are picked and they can participate. The winner gets some special prize at the end, and the losers are assassinated, and they have to maintain the speed of 4 miles per hour, and it's the last one standing type thing. And everyone comes out to see it. It's like almost celebrated, and the conversations that happen are very interesting. So I think this would be a really cool concept. Another one, Blake Crouch, Run. This entry in the Blake Crouch catalog is very interesting. It's kind of the world's falling apart. There's murders. The murders massively grow. The president is telling everyone to keep calm. Power grid starts shutting off. It's chaos. All of the preppers are taking, bunkering down. People are either, seen as friend or foe. There's no middle ground. It's lawless, every person for themselves, and you have this family trying to cope with it. Really, Blake Crouch, again, writes thrillers like they're just so fast paced. I think this would be a very interesting movie or series, honestly. And so that was my next pick. Another one, and I read this book many years ago, and I really liked it. The Winner by David Baldassi. You have this young mother, very destitute, down on her luck. She's approached at a gas station by this weird guy, and he has a rig into the lottery, and he tells her, hey, I will give you a cut of this if you're able to do this for me as the person who wins, and here's the stipulations. And she goes along with it, and some of those stipulations are pretty harsh, but it uncovers that she doesn't follow those, and the next thing you know, you're into this huge where they're tracked. It's a very interesting thriller. I think this would make for a great movie. Another one where I was kind of surprised that this one wasn't a movie, Michael Crichton, Airframe. This one of my favorite Michael Crichton books. You have a plane crash, and then you have this kind of hourly account of everything that transpires, and you have corporate politics, the media, quality control. I mean, you get a very in-depth look at a major aircraft maker and what goes on. And in terms of, all the recent stuff that's going on with Boeing, you would think that this would be an interesting take. I think this would make for a great movie. It's kind of got that 24 kind of vibe to it, where each hour you get these updates, and it's a fly by the seat of the pants type story. So another one that I think would be really, really, really good, especially in the nowadays where we have, more fantasy stuff being represented in series and movies, The First Law by Joe Abercrombie. I mean, how is this not a series? Like, you had Game of Thrones, you had Witcher, you have all these others. And so when I was doing my research, when I was doing my research on this, lo and behold, I found out that Skydance picked up the rights to do one of his standalone in the First Law world, Best Served Cold, which is the story of Monza Mercado and her revenge and these characters. This will be great, I think. I think this could be really, really good. This story is really, really good, and it takes place in Joe Abercrombie's First Law world. I would just like to see, Glocta, Logan Nine Fingers, those two characters in and of themselves would make this, in my opinion, worth the while. And Abercrombie is solidifying himself as one of the great fantasy writers now. I'm just surprised that this hasn't been picked up by someone. Next, Joe Hill, Heart-Shaped Box. I'm surprised this one hasn't been adapted for Netflix or something. Warner Brothers actually, in my research, bought the rights to this in 2007, but they've done nothing with it. But this is an interesting story. You have this ex-rocker and this weird thing that he purchases that comes with a curse, and then you have this ghost story that uncovers the character, being an ex-rocker. It's very dynamic. There's a lot of attractiveness to the story, and then you have the supernatural element. I think this would be great. I mean, when I mentioned, fantasy getting a lot of love lately, there's solid ground, it seems like, when you go decade by decade for scary stuff. That is always going to have solid footing when it comes to the movie industry. So I'm actually surprised this one hasn't been adapted. In my last one, yes, I was going to have another Stephen King on here, Revival. I mean, this one's a great story. You have coming of age, supernatural. You have dynamic relationships, long-standing relationships, something that's circular with a relationship that starts young and ends old. You have motives. You have stuff that's kept secret. I mean, this has so much that it could offer, and in both a movie and an adaptation and series. This is just crazy to me that this hasn't been picked up. I mean, obviously, like I said, it's hard to find Stephen King stuff that isn't, because he writes such weird and wacky things that are just, his imagination just runs amok. This one definitely is a really, really good story. Definitely one of my favorite books by Stephen King. This is his more kind of literary writings, but this, I mean, it's a shock this hasn't been picked up. So there you have it. That is my take. That is 9 books from varying authors that I think deserve either a movie or TV adaptation. I hope you enjoy this. This was definitely another one-off type video. I wanted to do kind of a behind the scenes as I'm doing this. And again, I'm tagging a bunch of people because I'd love to know their takes as well. Hopefully I'll get someone to play along. If not, that's cool too. Drop me a comment. Let me know if I've missed any that you think would also be really cool. I'm always looking to add books to my ever-standing look for list and TBR. And I will see you next time. Daryl, yeah, he says things are going Mach 5, so we're good here. All right, well, I will talk to you later, and have a good day.